Last time on Square Roots, we crash land on Disney Plus and kick up some Mandalorians, compile a preponderance of evidence to prove the innocence of a presumed guilty man, and start a civil war, then flee before we have to deal with the consequences, just like the United States government.
Hey everybody, and welcome to your favorite podcast, Square Roots. I'm your host, Johnny Brandon, and with me, these aren't the droids you're looking for, Vanessa.
It's me, Vanessa, and it's just me. That's right, listeners. Get excited. Wiggle your little fingers, because we have a double fister.
All right, it's been months since a double fister.
Yeah, which I think we actually used to call a two-hander, but I think with you and me, it's a double fister. Open up your ear holes.
Oh, no.
'Cause we're coming in with our double fister.
Oh, no. That's awful. But everyone loves me and Vanessa, so obviously this is the ideal two-hander.
It is. This is not an episode of Sierra Roots. I'm going to put that out there right now. I know when it's the two of us, people usually expect a lot of Sierra Games talk, but not today, my friends.
No, on this podcast, we take a classic video game RPG or JRPG, or sometimes an adventure game, and then play it one chunker at a time. And this is the penultimate chunker for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2.
I love penultimate chunkers. There's something about a penultimate episode that just hits that sweet spot.
I think the next episode will be a big chunker.
This will be a mini chunko. So if you feel shortchanged this week, just stay tuned to our next time.
Next time, we'll be doing... Nope. Not that part of the show yet. But yeah, it's just like a let's play for your ear holes, and you probably want to go back and listen to episode 1 if you want to start with Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Unless you're just a huge Korriban stan.
Everyone is a Korriban stan.
Korriban stan.
Coruscant. Except that sounds more like Coruscant.
Yeah, they all kind of sound the same.
Yeah.
Coruscant, Korriban, Korkakant.
Tatooine and Dantooine. Onderon.
Kaboo.
Alderaan? What's Jakku, and what's the one from episode 1?
Naboo.
Yeah, Jakku and Naboo.
Jakku, Naboo.
Oh, it's like mirrors. They rhyme.
George Lucas.
Hi,
How many
everybody.
times No, this is a double fister. We don't have room for the fist of Lucas on this podcast.
Have you ever noticed my head looks like
George?
that bad guy from Tron?
George, I don't have time to talk about your ginormous head. Get out of here.
Bye, everyone. Oh,
That guy.
yeah, he just likes showing up whenever we talk Star Wars.
I guess in his retirement, he doesn't have a lot to do.
I'm very lonely.
Get out of here, George Lucas.
Bye, everyone.
God.
Before we get to George Lucas's opus, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, how about we level up?
Oh, yes, please.
Vanessa, why don't you kick it off?
It was my birthday. Happy birthday to me. You thought it was Matt's birthday, but you see, we both have a birthday very close together, but he is not here, so cheer for me any kind of weather.
Yay!
That's that classic birthday tune. I had a birthday. I celebrated by not going to work. I've been working a lot recently, so that was a big event. And then I went to a prefix Japanese restaurant where you just sit down and you pay a flat fee and they bring you dishes of the chef's choice and you eat them up. And John, it was delicious. I
Ooh.
loved every single bite. Some people I told about it were like, you don't know what you're gonna get? Isn't that like weird? Japanese food is weird. It's not weird. It's delicious. It's a traditional kind of way to dine on Japanese food. There are a few restaurants around here that do this kind of thing, but most of them are very, very expensive. This one was a little bit more accessible, so was able to celebrate there. And now I will tell you what I ate. Are you ready?
I am.
I ate Chilean sea bass stuffed steamed tofu skin with truffle uni sauce.
Ooh.
It was tart and tangy and delicious. I ate sashimi, and I had the upgrade. Probably the most interesting thing in there was I think it was a trout liver. And I'd never had liver sashimi before. It had a livery texture, but a fishy taste. And it was delicious.
A livery texture is like a little, not gritty, but kind of gritty.
Yeah, and very dense.
Okay.
You know, like a very, you can tell that there are many cells packed into a small space. And that good old liver. I had a charbroiled lamb chop with foie gras miso. Now, the PETA folks are going to be up in arms about me eating that foie gras miso, but I loved it. Oh, it was so good. And the lamb, you just picked it up by its little bone and bit right into it. Tasty, tasty, tasty. I had a curry udon with mussels. That was great. They just bring a steaming pot of udon to your table, and the waitress dishes it out in different little bowls, and you eat it right up. I was so full by that point, but John, I made it work. I slurped those udons down.
I don't think I've ever had mussels.
Really?
Except for, the manly kind.
Yeah. Them muscles are all over you.
Boom.
The gun show's in town. And for dessert, purple yam ice cream.
Oh, wow.
It was very good. It was not very sweet. Japanese desserts usually don't have a lot of sugar in it. But it just had an interesting texture and flavor. It was a little bit sweet. It had like a red bean cookie with it and some jelly. It was wonderful. I was so happy. I love sashimi. It's like pure pleasure to eat that stuff down. You can just tell that you're getting like unadulterated protein and fats and oils right into your bloodstream. Amazing. Salmon roe, love it. So that's what I did. It was very satisfying, especially since whenever I play them Yakuza games or Persona game, I get frustrated that I'm not eating Japanese food.
I do want to go to Japan and eat lots of food.
We have to eat all of Japan. It's my dream.
I was thinking of going this year, but then I remember it's an Olympic year, so maybe
Yeah,
not
it's
this
a
year.
bad time. I want to go, but my problem is I don't like to be in the airplane seat that much.
Right.
So I would want to do an upgrade, but the cost between coach and like business and first class used to, I think, be kind of negligible, but these days it's just huge. You have to pay $5,000 more or something like that. It's ridiculous.
That is beyond my budget.
Me too, so we're just going to have to wait for more patrons to join our Patreon and then take advantage of their generosity by going to Japan.
I learned that Sylvester Stallone was paid in a jet, a Gulfstream jet, when he acted in the film Rambo 3.
Oh.
A $20 million payday. Or
Interesting.
$16 million in 1989 money. And I was looking at the interiors, and they are ridiculous. But I would love... The amount of waste to ever go in one of those seems very high. And I was looking at some of the interiors. If you like Google them for sale, you can get a used one for like $2 million. What a bargain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they have like these tacky 80s interiors with like floral print sofas and stuff.
No. Oh, no. I know. I can picture exactly in my mind what you're talking about. That interior design that was everywhere.
Yep.
No.
And just like the tackiest wooden panels in like the kitchen area and stuff. Oh, wow.
Oh, gosh. Now I kind of want one.
Kind of reminds me of the Sierra House.
Yes. We need to buy the Sierra House and an 80s private jet and just park it in the backyard.
Oh, boy. Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much.
Here's a jet.
Oh, it's just what I wanted. A tacky 80s jet. Thank you, John. That is so sweet. John, there's something I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
How did you level up?
I don't know if I can call it a level up, but I finished The Good Place.
As did I, but for me, I did not have your same experience. So please tell the listeners what happened to you.
It was very good. I'm not going to... I think that it's maybe my favorite, in a way, my favorite finale of a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a hard watch that I reacted very poorly to. It was so sad. I don't know if that's a spoiler to say the emotion I felt with it. But it was a happy sad, but it was a sad happy sad.
It was bittersweet.
So instead of spoiling the ending for of a show that people are probably waiting to watch on Netflix, which will show up this summer, let's just say that, have you seen the show How I Met Your Mother?
No.
That had a very sad, happy, sad ending. And that...
I'm aware of what the ending is, though I have not seen the show.
I almost think, like, if you could get a guide to the funnest episodes that aren't transphobic or misogynist, like, to watch those and then the ending, like, you could probably do a 20-episode run. That would be quite good.
The John edit of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. Because I think the show is worthwhile, even if the main character is kind of trash. And
many shows are. I mean, look at Seinfeld. All of those characters were trash, and people loved it.
Yes. But Barney specifically seems celebrated for his brand of trash that very quickly went out of vogue as soon as the show ended, basically.
Yeah. That show was sort of produced on the tail end of the let's offend everyone kind of movement.
Yeah.
And now we have moved on in humanity to let's offend no one. So unless you haven't.
Basically, the John cut would be the romantic arc episodes for the main character. And the best Lillian Marshall episodes, because those are fun, because it's Jason, what's his last name?
I know this one.
It's an S name, right?
Jason Segal.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think that's right.
No, I don't think it's right either. Is it Jason? Maybe it's not Jason. Hold on,
maybe it's not Jason.
Let me just Google this.
It's not Jason Statham. I know that for sure.
How I Met Your...
It's the guy who was in, like, Muppets, and he's in How I Met Your Mother. He's in a few other things.
It is Jason Segel. We were right. And we doubted ourselves.
That doesn't sound right. I'm not sure.
What do you think So, just imagine, and of course the Colby Smulders Alanis plotline episodes. There's about 4 of those, and they're all amazing.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I love Colby Smulders.
Well, do you know Alanis Morissette?
Yeah.
Her character had a career that is a parody of Alanis Morissette's career.
Interesting.
Like being in a kids show and then being a Canadian pop teen idol, and then having a crush on a Hollywood person that destroys her and makes her music dark.
Wow.
It's very fun.
I have some vague memory that Alanis Morissette had like a whole bunch of Google stock or something like that, and when it went public, she became a billionaire. Do you think that's true? Am I just making that up?
Well, you know who can answer this question?
Jim Banks.
Porky. Hey, Porky.
Oh!
Is Alanis a billionaire? Porky? She says no.
Oh. Well, I guess she must have lost her billions somewhere.
Let me see. Is Alanis, and I promise we'll start the show, a billionaire?
This is what people tune in for.
Alanis has an estimated net worth of $45 million.
That's a lot, but it's not a billion.
No. I'd be happy with $45 million.
I want 200
Billion or million?
million.
200 million seems like a lot.
Look, I did a lot of math and figured out what I would need to be happy in life. Like, not just contented, but euphorically happy every day. And it's $200 million.
Well, I did the math of computing what the total amount of money is in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then divide it by like 7.1 billion people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the result was like everyone should have about $35,000.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If we all did have $35,000, then housing prices and the cost of everything else would go down because that's capitalism, my friends.
Party!
My friends tell me that money won't solve my problems and that I actually would not just be happy if I had $200 million, but I think that my theory is one that deserves to be tested. So, listeners, if you have $200 million, write in to the Square Roots Podcast at gmail.com and I will send you my PayPal link.
Oh, to give you.
Yeah.
Not just to write in and say, hello, Vanessa, I have $200 million. Sucker.
I don't care if they are happy with their $200 million. My whole theory rests on me being happy with $200 million.
Right. I can feel...
I would be willing to record a special bonus episode just for that listener.
But
for the low
on the
cost.
subject and a delivery of your choice, not theirs.
No, of course. I mean, let's not get ridiculous here.
Yeah.
I'm not a pay-to-play.
Yep. All right, friends. I can feel Matt's eye daggers staring us down.
Mm-hmm. He's in the editing booth getting ready to put this show together.
And he's very angry that we are being silly goofs.
Mm-hmm.
So how about we talk about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords.
Let's do it.
Do it now. Play it good. Level up this podcast like we should.
This is the point of the game where they ran out of new areas for us to explore.
And even then, like, Telos was questionable because that had a lot of Terrace assets.
Yeah, I mean, the assets have all been repeated. It was just sort of a mishmash, and then they thought, why are we taking so much time to make new spaces when we have all these old spaces right at our fingertips?
It's called the Final Fantasy X-2 scenario.
Is it? I wouldn't know because we aren't playing it yet.
Oh, well, that game reuses some assets. Let's just say that.
I am so excited for it, and I'm a little bit enraged because I just... You know, I tend to be a little bit of a cynic when I'm anticipating something good, like receiving $200 million. I think maybe it won't happen. I want to live in hope, but I guess I'm guarding my heart. And I'm so worried that we won't get to play 10-2 this year. I just feel like something's going to happen. It's going to be pushed off until the next year. And then it's going to be like, no, this year we're doing all games with robots as the main character or some other stupid theme. And I am not going to get to play Final Fantasy X-2.
The only thing that might preclude it is if we take too long doing the other games this year, because there's two big ones we have to play.
Mm-hmm.
One of which you and I get to announce, which is great.
Oh, that's true.
And we will announce it at the end of the episode. Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two listener choice episodes, which I think if we try to aim for shorter ones for those, then we might have enough time for 10-2.
Maybe the listeners will choose Final Fantasy X-2. I know I'm not supposed to solicit the listeners for the game I want to play, and I know I've gotten in trouble for making you play the runner-up on a listener choice because I really want to play that one. We did play the listener choice, and then I was like, please, the runner-up, and then Matt Jorgensen got very mad at me, and I hope he can forgive me. The jury's still out on that one.
Aw,
but
he's a forgiving guy.
Of course he is. He is a dear friend of the show.
Yes. Anyway, Korriban, which I seem to remember visiting in KOTOR 1.
We sure did. This is the good old Sith Academy that our Revan character joined. There is where we met Carthonassi's son, who had signed up to join the Sith. And depending on our choices, we liberated him from his Sith entanglement.
I think I didn't get that plot line.
I think you have to be in a romantic-ish relationship with Karth in order to trigger it.
Oh, okay.
But last time we were here, it was teaming with students and teachers, being all Sithy and backstabbing each other and being like, Slytherin's a great house with the noble traditions. But they gone.
They're all dead.
Yeah, which I guess makes sense because my Revan, at least, did very much run through killing them all. And
as a Jedi does, I guess.
As a Jedi does, and looks like it's stuck, and they are dead.
Well, I think Kreia mentions something about this, that Revan came... We're sort of following in the footsteps of Revan a bit, and Revan came back to here after the big reveal of KOTOR 1 and then just destroyed the place.
Yeah. Which seems like, well, it's a little bit wasteful. It's like you could have converted it into like a primary education school or something like that. But I suppose the idea is that it's evilly McEvilson and full of the dark side.
This planet is so full of the dark side that there's like purple dark side fields everywhere.
Mm-hmm. They don't seem to do anything.
I don't remember that being in the movie.
The purple dark side fields.
Yeah, full of like lightning and purple. Maybe that
was that cave that Luke went to.
Yeah, and we do get one of those.
Yeah, we got a Luke cave
this episode. And there's also the vortex that Rey what Rey was like thinking about, and then Luke's like, right. You're thinking about the vortex. What's wrong with you?
I can't believe you would even think about that vortex. And then she's like, oh, I really want to go in that vortex.
Super fun stuff's going to happen in there.
Yeah, the vortex seems really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But before we go into any vortexes, we talk to Kreia.
And she's like, hey, I'm not going to come. I'm sitting this one out.
She's sithing this one out.
She's like, the dark side here just doesn't agree with me, and I think it'll be bad for me to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's stuff that you need to experience, which seems like anytime you don't want to do something and you just want to stay in the car, you should just tell that to someone.
Yeah. You know, I feel like you need to experience this 7-Eleven on your own while I wait here in the car.
I just got a message from Matthew saying that we should be wrapping it up.
Yeah, because we have been recording for 35 minutes, in his words.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, Try that again, Vanessa. Your statement, but like Kreia / sheave it up by about 10%.
Oh, sure. Listen, my young apprentice. I will stay in the car while you go forth to experience the store of convenience. It is your destiny.
Much better.
Thank you.
The dead speak. Ugh. So Revan wrecked this place. There's a bunch of bodies, and every time you walk around, even though... So I guess this is like... Imagine you're going through the store, or I'm going through the store, and every time I look at something, I get a FaceTime or a force time from Vanessa on what I should be buying for her.
Yeah.
So...
But with a lot of exposition, like, this is the frozen foods aisle. Here you will find food that has been trapped in time, preserved between life and death, so that you may drain what remains of its life force and absorb it into your own body.
Please get Nessa a burrito. She does tell you there's a bunch of desiccated corpses on the ground. She does tell you not to bother with them.
Yeah, she's like, leave them corpses alone. And
I did.
I did too. I was like, fine, I won't be a grave robber if it's that important to you. She's rarely sentimental, so I'll humor her when she's in that mood.
If you don't, however, you get swarmed by Sith beasts called like hissuses or something like that.
Oh, like if you bother the corpse?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you're missing out on some XPs, I guess.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I don't feel like I need a whole lot of them. My character's pretty powerful at this point.
And there's 4 tombs. You might remember these tombs of the Sith Lord from KOTOR 1. I
do. I went in them all and looted them up.
And this time, I think there was one you couldn't go into in KOTOR 1. I thought there was one with like a broken door, but I could be wrong. This time they're all broken, so you cannot go into any of the tombs. But if you go near one, you get a little Kreia FaceTime about her favorite Sith.
Yep, a little bit of a history lesson.
And as soon as you're done exploring this area, you can go on to the next area.
Mm-hmm. You do pass by a cave on your way to the academy proper, and I sort of tried to go in, and Kreia was like, you should wait to go in this cave until later. Mm-hmm. It is your destiny. And I was like, okay. I hear you, game.
The super special cave of trials is very alluring, but you should wait to go until after you've seen the academy because, wow, there's lots of stuff going on in there.
Because reasons.
Mm-hmm. And I also had Visas. I brought her with me because I thought she might have some special relationship with the Sith and the Sith area. She didn't say anything on Korriban, really, except for this cave. I think she's like, yeah, this cave, I'm getting some real bad vibesies from it.
Mm. Well, I guess she wasn't really a Sith. She was trained by this particular bro. Mm-hmm. Who kidnapped her from her planet, but she didn't go to the Sith Academy or anything like that.
We still haven't got her master's name yet.
I don't know that he has one.
I think people keep mentioning it, so I think I know what it is, but I could be wrong. It's not Darth Sion, because that's Mr. Badskin.
Right.
Who we're going to meet in just a mo.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you know, I cannot remember the names of these characters from the Star Wars movies, so even if you were to mention it to me, it is likely I would have no basis to confirm or deny what you were saying.
Right. Also we're on this planet looking, you know how we're looking for all the Jedi to get back, and there is a Jedi Lana Vash that we are trying to find here.
Llama Vash?
Yeah. I believe.
What's a Jedi Llama Vash?
That's her name. Lana Vash.
Oh, I thought you were saying like a Jedi warrior, a Jedi master, a Jedi Llama Vash.
Yes, a Jedi Llama Vash.
Yes, we are looking for Jedi Master Llama Vash in our quest to collect them all.
Mm-hmm. I guess she might be in the academy, so let's head in there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Sith Academy is a lot like Police Academy?
I think it's very much like Police Academy. They have rules and regulations they need to follow.
Mm-hmm.
They learn law. They learn weapons handling. They learn combat. Yeah, it's exactly like Police Academy. They have a strict hierarchy.
There's a Steve Guttenberg and a Bobcat Goldthwait.
Mm-hmm. There's that one Sith that just makes noises with his mouth.
I want to say, what was his name? Michael. I can't remember his last name. It's Michael something.
Michael Winslow.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, everybody! Here comes a lightsaber.
He was playing for like a week at the comedy club in New Westminster, which is pretty close to here. And I feel bad that I didn't go because I want to support the comedy stylings of a Michael Winslow.
Oh, well, I hope you get the chance to do so again.
He was I think he was my favorite of that film, which I have seen the first 3 several times.
I don't believe that I've ever seen a Police Academy film.
It was the first film I saw where they went to a gay bar.
Oh.
The Blue
and was
Oyster.
the representation affirmative and positive?
You know, it was interesting for me as a kid because I was like, wait a minute. This seems... Huh.
A room full of men, eh?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem like such a bad idea.
It's sort of like in Wayne's World where they went to the toolbox.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, wait a minute.
I think that was Wayne's World 2, to be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the gay bar in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a podcast just about films that take place in gay bars.
Yeah. Comedies
Although I'm
or
not
horrors.
really qualified to do that.
Oh, sure you are. So the Sith Academy is like the Police Academy, except in this case, Bobcat Goldthwait, Michael Winslow, and Steve Guttenberg are all dead.
Yes.
Was Kim Cattrall in that, or was she just in Mannequin?
I don't think Kim Cattrall was in Police Academy, but there was a blonde woman.
Right.
Who is not Kim Cattrall.
Okay.
And whose name is, I do not know.
No, she's dead too. And we go to the academy, and as soon as we get in, the doors lock right behind us.
Yeah, cha-chonk.
Very scary.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that Darth Sion is there with all these spooky Sith assassins.
Darth Sion is the one who chopped Kreia's hand off.
Mm-hmm.
And she also has some kind of relationship with him that is unclear at this point. I assume she stayed in the ship just to avoid having to explain herself to us.
She just doesn't want to see him again. She's like, ugh, I know Darth Sion's going to be here. How about I just tell the exile that I, for 4C reasons, can't go, so I don't have to deal with that guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chopped off my hand. I still have one hand, but who knows if I see him again.
And Vanessa can't stop being entertained by trying to put two-handed weapons on to Kreia and getting that error message.
This character's left hand is not available for two-handed weapons.
And so in the Sith Academy, you do have some treasures to find, and to unlock them, all you have to do is answer SAT questions.
Oh, I hated this. It was so awful.
I have decided that for SAT type questions in these games we play, I'm going to look them up because I don't have time to figure this out and I'm not that smart.
Yeah, I ended up looking it up as well because there was a math problem, and I do not like to do math, although I did do one later in this game successfully. Just the one, mind you. It took way too long. I should have just looked it up. And then some of them were knowledge questions. So if you're like me and cannot remember the names of these Star Wars characters, that was very difficult for me. Because it's like, which Sith Lords did this and that in the something or other?
Well, I guess you know that it can't be Freedon Nash's tomb because we go there later.
Well, how am I supposed to know that?
You're supposed to remember the names of the 4 tombs that Kreia told you about when you were space touristing.
And then there's one, it's like, what animal is the best pet for a Sith? The Gloop Glop, the Gleep Glorp, the Schnooglefitz, or the Wonking Toonk?
Ewok! Now I realized that Kreia was kind of playing Safari tour guide when we were doing the tomb part. On your left,
Yes.
you can now see the tomb of Pluto Nash.
What kind of name is Pluto Nash anyway?
It's
Good
a
Lord.
very stately name for a well-respected character that everyone loves. Pluto Nash.
No.
I've never seen The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Nor have I, and I do not intend to.
Do you know that film was in development for 20 years?
I did not know that.
It was like this hot script everyone wanted in the 1980s, but everyone was doing piles of cocaine at the time.
Yeah, sometimes you have to just stop and think, is what I loved then really what I love now?
Mm-hmm.
I went through a phase in the 1980s where I was pretty into Rainbow Bright. Now, not so much.
I was very into G.I. Joe and Transformers in the 1980s, and I still like them. I mean, I understand that one is war propaganda, but the other one was pretty rad. They turned into cars.
The G.I. Joes?
No, the Transformers.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a side quest here with a sealed door with, I guess, treasure behind it. And you have to get some thorium charges that are here to unlock the door. Unfortunately, I didn't bring anyone who can unlock a door. Which I probably should have because there's many locked crates here.
There are. I unlocked them all, and then I did blow up the door with the thorium charge. There's a Sith holocron behind it, but it has been destroyed by blowing up the door. But then you can get just some assorted stuff from different chests in there.
Unfortunately, I tried to lightsaber the container that had the thorium charges in it. I don't recommend doing this.
Interesting. And did you survive this experience, or did you have to reload?
I did, because there's something that happens, and I was doing a little bit of reading. Because we are playing the restored content mod, we're getting a lot more XP, because there's a lot more combat. So we're about 5 or 6 levels above where you should be for these things.
Oh.
So the game is... I'm already, I think, at the point where... the level where people would have finished the game.
Mm-hmm.
And all the combat encounters have become ridiculous. Nothing happens.
That makes sense, because I have been having the same experience, and I'm also kind of running out of powers and skills to choose for my Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I kind of have everything you could possibly want.
And I have decided to always play with either Kreia or Visas. Because both of them, I think now Visas has turned full light side, but I managed to get her to get Master Force Lightning before she went full dark side. So she is just like shooting the lightning out of her fingertips at everybody.
Nice. Palpatine style.
Exactly. And it kills most monsters in 2 hits, including like the Sith Masters that you're fighting in the next section.
Mm-hmm.
It's real good.
I have super stun person or stasis field.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who comes at me, I just freeze them in their tracks, and then they become very vulnerable to attacks, and they cannot hit me back.
Apparently, towards the end of the game, you want to have force resistance because you'll need those for boss fights. It basically makes you... you won't get stunned or choked by random bosses. If you...
That's a good tip.
Yeah, that's a little tip from Johnny the Tip Master.
Just the tip from Johnny.
That should be the name of my tip segment.
Yeah, just the tip from Johnny. So we do this test. It opens up some doors.
Oh, I love this.
You have to do a little combat test, and then finally you get into the torture room.
Oh, but there is a little bit of flavor text on the... You might miss it because it's in the computer terminals when you do the combat test. But, like, basically you've been accepted. After you do the test, you become a level 2 Sith. Mm-hmm. Or maybe the test makes you become a level 1 Sith. And then it's like saying, there is a combat test for you to do. And then the computer panel starts freaking out and then says, switching to level 16 Sith combat test. So it's a lot harder. And then after that, it says you took way too long and have failed, and you have to report yourself for disciplinary action because the computer notices that all the Sith are dead and is like, you're supposed to be training yourself now. Right.
So it's like, go schedule some torture for yourself in the torture room.
And the combat trial is to fight a couple of those Sith or those Force beasts there. I think the Hissis.
It was not hard. I did it very fast, and I did not deserve to be punished.
No, Visas was shooting all the lightning out at those little guys. And also, the whole time we're being attacked by invisible Sith assassins, but once again, they're like...
boop. They're like nothing.
Yeah.
And they're pretty easy to spot. The air shimmers around them, and you can usually hit them before they even decloak.
And I've got awareness enough that my character always notices them anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you head to the punishment room, which is full of I think that the disciplinary room we've been to before because there's someone. Remember, there was someone in one of those cages, and we could rescue them for good points.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
Oh, so we're back at the good old punishment room, and the Jedi we're looking for is there.
Oh, how's she doing?
A little bit dead.
Now, the game gives you the impression, if you look at her data pad, that she's only been dead for a couple of hours?
Yeah, I guess we should have been quicker.
Do you think that was good narratively? Because I feel like that's just kind of silly. I think if she had been desiccated and been there forever, I think that would have been a better find.
It's silly unless you presume that either that these guys just showed up, who you're about to fight.
Right.
Or that Kreia had something to do with it for some reason.
And Lana, I guess, got trapped in this room when she's been there for a while. But she was dead before we got there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, Lana Vash. That's what you get for convicting me.
Oh, harsh.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
On your way out, unfortunately, you run into Darth Sion.
And he's like, you suck. She thinks you're super cool. You're not super cool. You just suck balls, and I'm gonna show you how much you suck.
And he's like, BT dubs, I'm basically invincible. I can heal myself. I have a lot of power here. I'm boosted by the Sith power and the dark side power of this area.
Yeah. Well, I think that he didn't tell me that maybe he did, but I wasn't listening. But after I start fighting him for a while, Kreia does interrupt with her force time, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
BT dubs, this guy's invincible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, now you tell me.
Did you find that little force sparky area? I didn't want to walk through it because I thought it would just damage me. But apparently you can like dismiss it as a story beat or like a little side questy thing.
Oh, interesting.
You can or you can harness it. Either way, you get like a temporary stat boost.
Oh, so you can like purge it or whatever.
Yeah, you either purge it or you absorb it.
Yeah, I think I just ignored it.
Me too. So
Good job ignoring. Oh, we do get no, we already had breath control. I forgot. There is some poison traps here, but you can just breath control your way through it.
yeah, or just heal yourself. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
The next, so I do run. I was like, okay, I'll take her force time advice and get the heck out of there. But apparently if you don't, he basically just can heal himself completely every couple of seconds, so
Oh.
you can't defeat him. Because it seemed like the combat was going fine. I was like,
Yeah.
zwang, zwang.
Yeah, I felt like it was possible to beat him, but feelings can be deceiving, I guess. But also
Yes.
search your feelings. I don't know. The force is complicated.
But I thought you don't wanna let your emotions control you.
Yeah, but also feel the force all around you.
I guess. So, you get the heck out of there, and then I was like, well, I guess now's the time to visit the super special Cave of Trials.
Nice! The Luke Cave.
Now, the first half of this Luke Cave is an area we have been in before. There's like a side quest to kill some of those bird monsters and get some eggs or something. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. And there were some runaway Sith in there.
Yeah, that's right. And we told them to get the hell out of there because they'd be executed.
Yeah, I was like, go be heckin' Jedis. And they're like, the Jedi won't accept us, will they? I'm like, do it. And I guess they're all dead now because of the Jedi Civil War.
Yeah, Kreia was right.
Sorry.
So it's when you get to the end of the cave has an ending in the original game, but here there's a door that you can go through for a series of tests, but you must go alone. This is not for your friends.
Yep, Kreia jumps in again and she's like, you are ready to go through this cave. But you ain't taking that Mandalore with you or whoever else you brought along.
Visa stays behind. Her visa has been denied.
Oh.
The handmaiden, more like stand maiden, outside this test area. So they did. And one thing I didn't notice until after the first fight is your force regen is disabled in this cave.
Oh.
There are little areas you can get your force back, but it does not come back naturally.
That's very interesting.
It's tricky.
It's also something I noticed because I'm definitely not using cheats.
Test 1.
You can have lots of fun.
Fighting with ghosts of Malik before he got all robofied. And he summons 5 randos, one of whom is Bastila.
Yeah, and you can talk to him. You have the option of kind of being aware of what's going on or of just playing along and being like, I will join you, Malik, blah, blah, blah. But I always chose the option of, oh, this is a vision of my past. And then she can say, but Bastila didn't go with us to fight in the Jedi Wars. And he explains that she came around to his way of thinking eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially asks you to join again, like to repeat the choice of your past.
Right. And you're like, not this time.
Yep, that's what I said too. I was like, I understand. I made the choices I did at the time, but now with the benefit of hindsight, I choose not to make those same choices. And he does not like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bastila showing up in this weird cameo is kind of strange, especially since she's not voiced.
Yeah. They didn't bother bringing in the voice actor. She's just kind of there.
So at this point, I was just spamming a Force Scream, or Master Force Scream, and so they died pretty fast. And then I just had to lightsaber up against Ghost Malik. That was I'm good at duels. I got some dueling, and then you can change your. That's one thing new in this game. You have stances, and there's a dueling stance, which makes you much better at dueling. So I cut him down where he stood.
Nice.
And that's the end of Test 1. Test
We did it.
2.
It's just me and you.
No.
Oh.
There's so much we can do.
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing our two-fister, but whatever.
But there's Test 3. Well, I guess that works too. Okay, fine. So Test 2, there's a bunch of soldiers, Republic soldiers, and they need to get through a minefield. And you can clear it for them, or you can have them walk through it so that you have a clear path.
It seems to indicate that the choice you made before was to have them walk through it. And many people died.
Oh, it's like a Metal Gear kind of like feeling bad about the stuff you did scenario. Now, here, if you tell them to do it themselves, you get all these tests. You can get lots of dark side points. Like this cave can basically turn you evil.
It wants to.
And I decided to blow them up myself because I'm good at blowing up mines. And it was not a problem. And
no, just use Destroy Droid, zippy zap, you're done.
Now, each one of these tests there's like a sassy option of, well, I know this isn't real, so it doesn't matter. But I feel like you start getting, this is really interesting because normally that's like in every role-playing game saying, I know this is a vision, this is fake, and I'm not playing along is the right thing to do. But I feel like here they kind of play up on that if you are just sassy and don't care, you're actually kind of making things harder for yourself and getting on the dark side.
Yeah, they want you to come to terms with what you have done. And it's very interesting to have a character with a past at all in a role-playing game.
Yeah, I think that's not the actions of a character tend not to be that much of a focus in RPGs like the previous actions.
So I enjoyed getting to know more about our Jedi.
Test 3.
It's just you and me.
Test 3, you run into Kreia and your besties, and they are getting into a high school fight. They're calling her a old woman who's evil, and she's like, you're all fools, and you can pick a side, which is naughty, or you can stay out of it and fight all of them, which is hard. I picked fights because I thought they were being mean to Kreia.
Yeah, I picked a side as well. I don't think I got dark side points, though, because I said that I agree with them that she is a dark Jedi and is no good, but that I would protect her in order to redeem her later.
Maybe it's that you don't get light side points for picking a side.
Yeah, I didn't get any light side points, I don't think.
Yeah. So you do have to kill all your friends with the help of Ghost Kreia.
Yeah, I killed Atten, I killed Baudur, I killed Mandalore. I killed them all.
So I don't know if we passed that test. I guess like the real Jedi-y thing to do is to be like, no, I will not choose sides.
I will not fight.
Yeah, but then you have to fight anyways because they all... Like, I tried that first, actually. I tried the I will not fight, and they killed me really fast.
Yeah, because it's all your companions. They're pretty tough.
They are. Having Kreia on your side really helps. I did this one again, and yeah. And also, if you fail, I think if you get killed in these boss fights, it says you don't die, but you become so full of the dark side that you lose all control or something. Like, it gives you a bad ending.
Live in the cave for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Now, test 3. Oh, this is test 4. Sorry.
Oh.
Test 4.
There isn't any more.
You have to fight a clone of yourself and Darth Revan.
Yeah. You show up and you're there hanging out with Revan just like you did in the old days when you were a general in Revan's army.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, you gotta deal with what you did.
I think the clone of yourself is a restored content part of this fight.
Oh, interesting.
Because I was reading a walkthrough, and it doesn't mention fighting the clone at all. I was like, oh, okay, because that's like the first part. And now that I'm super high level, my clone is real hard to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, before I opened the door, I put like every healing thing on me and every like force thing to protect me, and then I just like threw my lightsaber a million times at them.
You're like, check this out. Zoom, zoom.
Now I believe you can lose this fight and still be okay, but you get a massive hit of dark side.
I don't want that.
No, so I won it, but so what I did is I just threw my lightsaber, and then with Darth Revan, before that the cutscene started, I back out of the door so I have even more space to throw my lightsaber at Darth Revan, and basically only had to do 1 or 2 hits to take them down.
Nice.
She went down, and Darth Revan doesn't say anything. You can ask Darth Revan questions, but Darth Revan's just like.
Because they never voice the protagonists of these games, so it would be weird to have them talk.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is, I guess, like Vanessa's saying, the end of your pre-game arc of joining Revan, and now this time you fight against the Revan's dark side and win.
You've come to terms with your past.
You get a lovely armband and a sword as a prize. The sword's actually not that good, but I gave it to the handmaiden because she is not a Jedi yet. We'll talk about that at the end.
Oh, interesting.
Now, after all this, you can head back to your ship, and Kelborn, one of the Mandalorians, calls and says that Kavar, the Jedi from Onderon, wants you to come back.
Yeah. It's like, you remember that civil war you set off and then left? Actually, no. You need to come back here.
I guess we never did meet the Queen, so it's probably a good idea to go back and hang out with her. So yeah, let's blast off to Duxon. Quack,
Woohoo!
quack.
Back on the moon.
Surprise! There's a civil war. The Sith and General Vaklu are besties now, and he has launched a coup against the Queen, and they are marching onto the palace. There's no time, but there's also a presence of some kind of Sith base on Duxon now that we've got their satellites back online. And we have to do 2 things at once. How can we do 2 things at once? We're only 1 people.
Split up.
Oh boy, we are splitting up. And this is something that KOTOR 1 really didn't do, but is very Star Warsy, because there's always like one gang is going to turn off the shield generators while the other gang is going to fight the Emperor kind of deals. So
that's true.
This feels very Star Warsy. One gang is just on a swamp having soup with a Muppet, while the other gang is in Cloud City, I guess.
Yeah, having tea with Darth Vader.
Yeah. So
you have to choose who goes with gang number 2.
And I decided to, like, you can choose various leaders. Like, Mandalore is a good leader, but I chose the handmaiden because she's fun. And I like her, and I wanted to get influence points with her so that I can make her a Jedi, because she has not been influenced at all by me. I
chose Mira because the text option said that her survival skills would be very helpful. So I sent her as the leader, and Kreia's like, all right, who else? And then I said, also Atten. And she goes, if you must. So So I sent him because he's a Jedi. And I don't actually remember who else I sent with them. I think maybe Go-To.
Okay, I sent Mandalore, Visas, and the Handmaiden. I want someone with dark force powers who can do some force lightning at people.
Mm-hmm.
And she can do that.
She sure can.
So there's an opening scenario. Let's say I'm a little burpy.
That's okay. Get it out.
Mm-hmm. There's an opening scenario where this Mandalorian tour guide, Zarga, is there, and he introduces you to a puzzle. He says that this base is guarded by like some kind of intruder detection machine, which is in itself defended by mines. And if you explode the mines, it'll set off the intruder detection, and you also have to be invisible so the machine doesn't see you, so you can turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And there's three options here. You can blow up the minefield, which alarms everyone. You can sneak if all three of you are stealthy. You can just all three sneak by it, or you can send a stealthy person who is also good at computer hacking and have them turn it off.
Mm-hmm. I sent Mira through. Her special trait is that she doesn't set off mines, so it was very easy for her to get through the field. Although I did have her clear a lot of them out because I was worried that my party would run through them all willy-nilly once the detector was set off. And then she didn't have the computer skills, but you can also, I think, blow it up or something like that. So she stuck a mine on it and blew it up, and then it was no longer functional.
I alerted everybody. I don't know what I did wrong. I think I
no.
blew up a mine or something. I can't remember. But I basically got all the Sith rushing me, and I think it just increases the number of Sith you have to fight by like 3 times or something. So this was kind of hard. I had to like save scum a little bit and like lure people out, and then kill, like, get 1 or 2 fighting me at a time and then kill them and then keep going on. And everyone kept dying. Like, it was always down to just Mandalore shooting people from far away, and they weren't shooting back, or his armor was too good, he wasn't taking any damage, and that was how I got through this chunker. How did you get through it?
I've noticed that Mandalore doesn't really seem to take damage because his armor is so good. I don't have the cheat on all my characters, and he never had it, but he always seemed fine anyway. So I snuck through there, and then once you sneak through there, you can go to another kind of side area with a computer and hack it and make the turrets around the base attack anyone. So I had them attack all the Sith that were standing around there. And you can also turn off a couple of force field generators, which I think, I don't know, lowers the power of their defenses somehow. So had a pretty easy time just sneaking around, and then snuck my way on in, and there was a minimal guard presence by the time I got there.
I should have brought someone who was good at computers and demolitions for this chunker, because I made it way harder than it had to be. On the plus side, I did... As soon as I got past this part and you get inside the tomb, I just had Visas tap force lightning and kill everybody. That part was very easy, but the outside was hard. So this is Freedon Nad's tomb. He's one of the Sith Lords, but he was not buried on Korriban, which is a trivia question you have to answer to get your Sith level 1 badge.
Yeah, cool, great.
There's lots of dark Jedi apprentices and 2 Sith Lords on the outside of the base, but you know what? They are not. They haven't learned resist force lightning yet, I guess, is the skill that they need and have failed to learn.
Well, sucks to be them.
So you go inside, and there's, I think, another SAT question machine.
Mm-hmm. There were 2 of them, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. And I got some lightsaber crystals from them.
I tried to do these by myself. One is sort of a logic elimination puzzle, and I am ashamed to say that I failed that one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which is supposed to be my forte, but there you go. sometimes you're just not with it. So then I got mad and I'm like, I'm doing the next one all by myself. And it was a algebra problem where you had to enter in the, what's it called? The commands,
The operator?
The operator, yeah. So I solved that one all by myself with the help of my calculator on my phone.
Ooh.
I was very proud. It was a very junior level algebra problem. But for me, it's really something.
I'm not a fan. Okay, this is still better than the Tower of Hanoi and the lighty up.
I love the Tower of Hanoi.
And the lighty up panels, things that BioWare games always give you. But Obsidian always has the SAT question mini games.
I am a legit fan of the Tower of Hanoi. I used to do them like a physical version of one for fun. I would have loved if we did a Tower of Hanoi. I'm really sad that we didn't.
I do like that they're a bit more challenging, but who also has time for this? Not Johnny.
Not Johnny.
Nope. So I kind of just rush through those, grab my crystals. You get some Sith. You have to like turn off some fields and stuff so that you can get to the final room, which is pretty easy. And there is a bunch of Sith doing what looks like some kind of ritual for this big, poorly rendered statue.
Yeah, and they never explain what they're doing or why they're doing it.
No, you got a couple of cutscenes saying like the Jedi must not interrupt the ritual, but you don't get a cutscene saying what the ritual is for.
Yep.
Well, turns out, Vanessa, the ending of their ritual is they get exploded by force lightning.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good ritual, guys.
It was great. This was very... suddenly the game has turned ridiculously easy, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I really like it too. I like games where I feel overpowered after a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess because when they did the restored content mod, they didn't rebalance the enemies for the higher levels that you would have.
That makes sense.
I'm fine with that. This is not a complaint.
Me too. Yep. Zero complaints.
Yep, because
from the old square roots.
I remember that trudging ending of KOTOR 1 where you're going through the base to get to Malak, and you were like, it was so hard, and you had to fight wave after wave after wave of bad guy. And I'm sure there is a section like that in this. I don't know, actually. Is there?
There might be.
Okay. But hopefully being super overpowered will make it just like tap. They're all dead.
It doesn't hurt. I'll say that.
Oh boy, because that last fight with Malak, I had to like use every grenade and like kind of spam it so that he wasn't attacking me by running to the other side of the room. In KOTOR
I remember
1.
that, and he was like sucking up the people in the thing.
Yep. You have to like blow them up before he can.
That was a whole thing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. But in this case, this like boss fight was very easy.
Nice.
You get another lightsaber. You get
Hooray!
Pluto Nash's lightsaber.
Yeah. Which I think is only dark side. Is that correct?
Pardon me. I believe so, and unfortunately I have like one dark side person left.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Kreia.
Yeah. I like how you're like not supposed to know exactly what Kreia's deal is, but then you can look at her character and it's just like, she sucks.
She real evil. I want you to do evil things all the time.
I did ask her at one point, what are you, like a Jedi or a Sith? And she's like, what does Jedi mean? What does Sith mean?
Oh, I love how evasive she is about everything. Now, there is so you get another lightsaber, and then Zarga's like, this is interesting because it's like it kind of takes place after the next chunker. Zarga's like, well, your friends are back. Why don't you come meet with them and you can tell them what happened? But then then you go back in time to what your friends were doing, which is the exile, Kreia, and who was your third?
The Exile, Kreia, and I think I brought Mandalore down with me because I felt like he needed to have the opportunity to interact with the people on this planet in power since he lives on the moon with his friends.
Ah. In this case, I brought Mira because I'm trying to get her to be a Jedi too. So I wanted, and I want someone who could unlock things after not being able to unlock stuff last time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just besties heading out. We have fun. Unfortunately, well, so you take this basilisk. I think it's either called like a Cerebus or a basilisk or something like that.
Yeah, it's a basilisk, and they're like, "You're gonna take the basilisk," and your character's like, "I get to fly a basilisk, the ultimate ship of the Mandalorian. This is gonna be so amazing."
You have the dumbest cutscene, and I love it. At least you can't blame Atten for this one.
No, but this is, I think, the third time we have crashed a ship. Fourth time?
I think fourth.
Nice.
Yeah. So you get in. So the cutscene is basically the basilisk flies up and then crashes. Like it's a 30-second cutscene of it going. It's a cool. It's like a thwomp from Mario Brothers, except it's got guns in the front.
Yep. It just lands in the middle of the square by the cafe that we were at before.
You do have a bullshit minigame.
Tell me about it.
You shoot ships with your basilisk.
Oh, that's right.
And it's very easy and a lot of fun.
It was very easy. I have found these turret games in KOTOR difficult before for some reason, but this one was not.
Yay! And so you land in the market square, and at this point, either the Queen's troops or the General's troops rush you, depending on how you behaved in Onderon last time and who you were supporting.
Oh, interesting.
So if you were pro-General last time, then you are part of the rush up the skyway to the palace. If you were pro-Queen, you're being attacked by the General's troops.
Ah, well, I, of course, was pro-Queen because I love a hereditary monarchy. And they did rush me, but they were easy to shoot.
She wasn't elected Queen like Amidala was.
No, I don't think so. I think she just was born that way.
Right. And yeah, so you run up these ramps, you're mowing through Sith. They do recognize that you are a Jedi, and they're like, you keep getting cuts to General what was his name? I have it written here. Sorry.
Hux.
Vaklu. General Vaklu and Lieutenant Tobin. Like saying, oh crap, the Jedi is back. This is bad. We got to get in that. We got to assassinate that queen real fast. And as you go up the skyway, you get sabotaged. A pipe explodes and hurts you.
It's true. And then you're like, uh-oh, there must be a hacker hacking into all the corporate and government secrets.
I'm not a corporate or government secret. Why is he trying to expose me with his explosions?
Yeah, he's trying to expose your innards with his explosions.
So we know someone is there with all his laptops and books and spilling coffee on his face. But we don't know who it is. And although I kind of, when they said it's like must be a very talented slicer, we have met a very talented slicer in Onderon, so I was pretty sure who it was going to be.
And he's nowhere to be seen right now.
Yeah. So you make your way through wave after wave of the General's troops. At this point, now my main character does not have Force Lightning, but you know who does?
Kreia?
Kreia sure has Master Force Lightning. So she's
nice.
like, I'm a good guy. Zap, 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 zap. Don't
Once
mind
again,
me.
I was just using my stasis field, which makes them all freeze in the exact same position. They sort of put their hands in front of themselves and throw their heads back with their mouth open, much like Han Solo in the Carbonite.
Yep.
And when they're frozen, it only takes a couple hits of a lightsaber to bring them down because they don't have any defense left.
Mm-hmm. You make your way to the castle, and the castle is under siege. You get a really goofy cutscene of this is the plan that Lieutenant Tobin and General Vaklu have come up with. They have a giant beast called a Drexel that is blowing fire at a force field to take it down. And they're like, we have to get to the queen and assassinate her before the Jedi gets here.
But they're pretty confident. They're like, our Drexel's gonna get through this shield any minute. And that shows the Drexel, and it's just this kind of, polygon T-Rex looking thing being like, "Rah, rah, rah."
So I mow through some more guards. It's real fun. You get to you meet one of the lieutenants, and he directs you to Kavar. And Kavar is there. He's like, hey, buddy, thanks for coming.
Yeah, good to see you again.
I know we really want to rescue the queen, but we got to stop this hacker. This hacker is ruining everything.
They're hacking into all of the corporate and government secrets.
They're going to expose the Jedi for what they are. And we have to stop them.
Yeah. So, look, maybe you think that Snowden's a hero. Maybe you think he did the right thing. But the reality is his actions led to the Trump administration. So let's take care of this guy.
Wow. Politics. So we head to we get to the room where the hacker is. We have to fight some like mini boss like dude to get there. But it's no problem. And we get to Kip. And it's Kip.
Yeah.
He's the guy who sliced some cards for us last time and helped us solve a mystery.
What a surprise.
And he's like, oh.
The talented hacker is the talented hacker from before.
Look, I was just figuring I would side with who was going to win because I wanted to survive, and I just wanted some money, and sorry about that. And you're like, well, are you going to keep fighting us now if I let you go? He's like, no, it's cool. Do you want me to? I'll stay for a trial. I'm not going to fight you. And I'm like, no, just head out. It's fine. You did me a solid before. We're good. Yeah, thanks,
I told
buddy.
him to stay for his trial.
And we fist bumped. And he headed out.
I was like, you just wait here for the authorities to come collect you. And he's like, okay, will do.
You know what? He's fine. He was just doing what he had to do.
I don't know. He was collecting a salary, I'm pretty sure.
So we then can now head to the field, and just as we get there, the Drexel's done taking down the force field. So we have to get through General Tobin, Lieutenant Tobin, who's telling us he can never be defeated by us.
He is easily defeated by us.
Then we have to kill the Drexel larva.
They're like, you can never defeat the Drexel. And
that was pretty easy.
Yep, we defeat the Drexel.
We get through the room, and it's full of Queen's Republic soldiers and the general soldiers. And fortunately, the Force Lightning's smart enough to target the ones you want to kill and not just everybody.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I should take a screenshot of it. I just did one thing of a Force Lightning, and just everyone in the room died. It was amazing.
I just froze them all, and then I ran straight to the general and whapped him many times with my lightsaber. And then once he was defeated, everyone else essentially gave up.
Well, he does ask you to join him.
Does he?
I think so. I think there's one last...
I probably wasn't paying attention to him.
I feel like there's one last, hey, we could be buddies. Help me kill the queen.
Yeah, and I'm just like, how about no?
Yeah, and so I take him down. I don't kill him.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And then the queen is like, thank you so much for saving the kingdom. Even though I am the head of state, I feel like it's your choice. What should we do with this dude? We're going to kill him, right? We should kill him? What do you think? Kill him? Everyone?
This is very Dragon Age-y.
How does the room feel about this?
Landsmeet.
Killing? So what did you do?
First I said it's not my place to decide what we do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, cool, we're going to kill him. And I was like, okay, but what if we don't kill him? And then she's like, what? And I had to use my persuades to be like, you don't want to make him a martyr. Let him, stand trial, all of this stuff. And she's like, okay. So even though I said it wasn't up to me, it was up to me.
See, I said, sounds good. They just all, and he's like, my troops, no. And they all just shot him to death.
Aw. Sorry, buddy.
I didn't get dark side points for it. I just don't want to tell someone how to run their country. So you don't need my...
Well, I'm willing to offer advice, but again, it wasn't an order. It was persuasion.
I'm not going to Jedi-splain her on how she should be doing things. Actually, you'd be a martyr if you kill him, so...
If someone asks for your opinion, you should feel free to give it.
I guess so.
Unless you think it would do more harm than good.
Right. And so now we have Kavar, and he's like, hey, what's up, buddy? So we weren't sure what happened to your Jedi powers. And well, why'd you take them away? And he's like, we didn't take them away?
That seems not true, because what happened to my Jedi powers?
He's like, well, that's kind of something we wanted to investigate. We don't know why they were gone, and we thought it might be your feeling bad, you did something so bad and you felt so bad about it that you disconnected from the Force.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's weird. And he's like, yeah, I came to... Basically, all the Jedi went to big city centers because that was the place we could hide most easily because they couldn't, detect us if we were just surrounded by people.
Yeah. The Jedi are running away from introverts, and introverts can't deal with crowds.
So it seems like there's two bad guys so far, at least. There is Scion with his crunchy skin, who is dead, apparently. That's what Kreia says.
Some kind of half-life.
Ooh, I love Half-Life.
Yeah. And
there is Tootleface with the silly mask who talks like silliness.
Yeah, who's like... Blah, 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 blah.
Flippy florp. Yeah, that guy. I like that guy's dumb voice. Except, I feel like we're getting... I think we had this problem with KOTOR 1, that we're getting pretty far into the game without any narrative development on the bad guys.
Yeah, we're still just doing our gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
I have gotten a cutscene from Kreia that explains a little bit more, not very much. But I don't want to talk about it because I feel like it's a kind of big spoiler, so I'll wait until the next episode.
Okay. So that's it. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to Dantooine unless you want to kill me. I'm not gonna kill you, buddy. Why?
Yeah, why does every Jedi we find think that we're gonna kill
Look,
them?
I'll just take my lightsaber, put it next to my head, and turn it on. Is that what you want? I'm like, no! What is wrong with you people? But no, he's gonna meet me down on Dantooine, so I guess we gotta go to Dantooine.
Yeah. Back to where it all began.
Now, there weren't a lot of side quests in this chunker. I had okay. Everyone thinks I am trying to hook up with Mira, I'm trying to hook up with a handmaiden, or I'm trying to hook up with visas.
Interesting.
Kreia's like, well, what do you think will happen if you best the handmaiden at combat? Do you think she would not just submit to you physically, but emotionally too? I'm like, well, I already beat her at combat, and it's not happening. I'm not interested in ladies. And
didn't Kreia say something to you about charging up her landing strip or something like that?
Yep. I think she does say something about docking with her port.
Oh, man, Kreia. I had a cutscene where Atton was talking to Bao-Dur, and he's like, hey, you know the Jedi that we're traveling with, right? And Bao-Dur's like, yes, we serve together. the Great Mandalorian War. And Atton asks, do you think a guy like me would ever have a chance with a lady like her? And Baudur kind of dodges the question. He's like, look, I don't know her well. Your guess is as good as mine. Then Atton's like, well, what is your guess, So I guess Atton has some designs. And Mira did ask me if I was in a relationship with Atton, but I denied it.
Yeah, everyone thinks that I'm like romantically interested with my crew, and I'm just like, no, that's fine.
Well, when you're stuck on a ship, you have to do something to entertain yourself, and, people will talk.
I take it I am not able to romance any Gamorreans in this game, so it's just not happening.
No piggy for you.
But, I think that's it.
Yep.
Next time on Square Roots, we're going to finish the game.
Whoa.
I think it's a little bit of a hefty chunker.
It is a hefty chunker, and I have done it, but if my companions feel that it is too hefty, we can revisit it. But for now, let's go with this plan.
Well, I think that we want to do the next game in episode 200 because it's a big one.
That's right, our 200th episode.
So we're gonna take the shot. We're going to really crush it to get to the end of the game by next episode. But that means, what are we gonna play? What are we gonna play? What are we gonna play after?
We're going to play a game which, at the time of its release, greatly disappointed me.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to play a game that I love so much and is a pivotal moment of my gaming career?
We are.
How could that be the same game?
How could it? What could it be?
What game is it now? What game is it now? We'll play.
What game could it be? It's Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, in honor of the remaster, we are playing the original master.
Oh, it's not a remaster.
Final
it's a
Fantasy 7.
Make.
I don't know the difference.
A remaster is where they just make it.
I know the difference. Come on.
Oh, I'm mansplaining remasters to you.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I just can't do it. I'm just sorry about that, Vanessa.
To be fair, I did explicitly say that I don't know what the difference is. I was being facetious.
Oh, okay. And how we've also come up with a great idea on how we're going to get in the mood for Final Fantasy VII. We're going to watch the prequel to Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy
VII Advent Children.
No.
Final Fantasy VII, The Spirits Within.
Yes!
Oh, no!
Finally, we'll get to see how Final Fantasy VII starts. The origins of Shinra. All right, so, before we go, what are you roundly for or squarely against this chunker?
I am squarely against these SAT-style questions. I think it's totally fine if it's a optional thing. Like in the Sith Temple, where you can get the crystals. But in the Sith Academy, you had to answer these questions in order to proceed. And like any kind of gameplay that changes the main mechanic of the game and makes you do something new and different in order to move forward, I don't like it.
I'd like to say I'm squarely against this chunker having no, side quests and choices and stuff. There's one choice at the end, but this was just super linear, and it was fun. I think it was well designed. I think that both dungeons and scenarios, not really a big part of the narrative of this game. In fact, it kind of, especially the random Sith temple, seems like a weird detour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just kind of against that it doesn't feel very RPG-y or very BioWare-y or even very Obsidian-y.
Yeah, it does feel very linear in this section. Although you do have the choice of who to put in which party, which is kind of a fun throwback to like Final Fantasy VI. We had those scenarios.
Oh boy. Well, before we go, we have a couple of emails.
We do.
One from Mr. Defendi.
Oh. Do you want me to read it, or shall you read it?
Yeah, you should read it.
Okay. Bear with me, it's a long one. Hello all. I've been going through the back catalog, which means that I coincidentally listened to your KOTOR series right before you started KOTOR 2, and something occurred to me. I always wondered if the playing the droid sequence in KOTOR 2 was an homage to KOTOR. I bring it up because none of you played T3 when your party was captured in KOTOR, but I did, and it might be the first time I wept openly during a computer RPG. Aww. To put this in context, I would have been playing the game between the release of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and while I wasn't hating on them as much as some, they weren't scratching my Star Wars itch as much as the original trilogy had. Then my party was captured, and I put T3 in hiding. Suddenly I'm running around as a plucky astromech droid, trying to faithfully rescue the people I love. When the Star Wars theme starts playing on the soundtrack, I completely lost it. It is, to this day, perhaps the most Star Wars moment I've ever experienced in a game. I didn't realize until that moment just how much I'd missed Star Wars despite the new movies. I suspect that more people had that experience than me, and the KOTOR 2 designers were echoing it with the protocol droid in 2. Not successfully, but I've always wondered. Thanks, Bob Defendi.
Well, that was the droid stuff was my favorite part of KOTOR 2, I think. That was super fun. But I didn't find it emotional. I just found it silly in a way I enjoyed.
Yeah, it's interesting how, Star Wars is so vast that people have different kind of key things for them. For some people, it is the prequel trilogy. For some people, it's just the original trilogy. For some people, it's the merch. For me, I have quite a strong affection for Disneyland and really loved going on Star Tours as a kid. I can't as much now because I get motion sick because I'm old, but I desperately want to visit the new ride that they have at the Disney parks that takes you through a whole Imperial Star Destroyer. And I don't know if you're familiar with this at all, John. It's called Rise of the Resistance, and it looks like an awesome ride. If you are not adverse to ride spoilers, you can watch ride-through videos on the YouTube of it, and it's just an amazing piece of art in this ride that they have put together.
I would like to do that one. I think I am done with the kind of roller coaster where you're at the tippy top and you look down for like 10 seconds and then you go, ah! I don't think I can't do those anymore. But like a quiet ride like that where it's just fun things happening, I can definitely do that.
Yeah. This ride, I think, is not very violent at all. It's very smooth, as many Disney rides are. I do like a tippy-top roller coaster, but I like contemporary ones because I don't like to be jostled back and forth and feel rattled around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can tip me over the edge of something and have me look down. I enjoy that. I like to see little people who look like ants and then hurtle towards the ground.
I always just feel like I'm going to fall out, and it's not a good feeling, and I hate it, and I can't do it anymore.
Then I guess you would not enjoy one of my favorite roller coasters, which I think I've sent you pictures of before, where you just dangle in the seat with your legs hanging down and your arms hanging down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing between you and death except for one little harness.
I think I'm done. Like last time I've tried an amusement park, it's like, nope, that's it. Anyway, back to Mr. Defendi. I'm glad you had such an awesome experience. I love KOTOR 1, and maybe KOTOR 2 is real good too. I don't know. We're holding judgment until next episode on that. But I don't know if that's a direct homage or not. But I think it's a really good sequence, and it sounds like playing through as the T3 is the best way to do it in KOTOR 1. So if I play that again, and I probably will because I really like that game, I will do it your way.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Johnny.
Yeah.
Do you want to save this next email for our next episode?
Oh, God. You know what? Yes.
All right.
This seems really long.
It's really long and really detailed, and I think it will be a better fit for our ultimate episode.
I tried to do the thing he's talking about getting fuel for Telos, and it didn't work. So I don't know. I did wrong there. Oh, well.
Yeah. Before we go, we have one more piece of business.
One more piece of business.
I'll be Jim, and you be Mafu.
Well, first, let me tell you real quick about our Patreon.
Okay.
For $3 a month, you have access to all our bonus episodes, including our review of Jedi Fallen Order and our review of the prequel to Final Fantasy VII, The Spirits Within, which will be coming out this month. And for $5 a month, you get to vote. And after Final Fantasy VII, we will have a votey. Choose your game, and you'll get to tell us what to play. So that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be one more later on in the year. But before that, we just want to thank all our patrons. And if you give us even $1, you get onto our patron list of patrons.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to read those. So you want to be Jim, or should I be Jim?
I want to be Jim.
Okay. Go nuts, fake Jim.
Hey, it's me, Jim. Hey, guys. It's me. I'm just over here being tall with my hair and everything. Here I go. It's a Kwame Mario. Aaron Bachman, Wonderswan, Sean Arada, Justin Rash, Grey Code, Dr. Steve Stone. Good. Let the hate flow through you, Dr. Stone. Tracy Tanoff, No Gods, No Masters, Jameson, Amanda Douglas, Jordan O'Boyle, Race Jenkins, Matthew Casterline, Chris Penyak, Armin Hammer, Gregory, George Brady, The Mighty Monarch, Matthew Newland, Only a Jelko Cat Deals in Absolutes, Hexagon, Chewy, I Hardly Know-y, Andrew O., Jake Dickerson, and Alex Dillard.
All right, I will be Matthew now. Justin Ham, Brady A. Berman. That's the vaping. Ross Hartley, PJNs, Andy Best, Rusty Kamada. Fine, say everyone's name, at least it annoys me. Wash in the Wind, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Andy Smith, Bree Girth, Chris Ryan, Randy Pierce. Reddit is Harold Lauder, Ryan Miller, The Phantom Scofflaws of the Opera, Miguel Torres, Darth Kreia School of Do-Nothing Centerism. I love it. Chris Wilder, Devin Sloan, Michael Crawford, Huxley Iguana, Robert T. Jared Collins, Bumpkins, Florian Jonas Kramer, Adam Zimmerman, Jonathan Ellsworth, Megan Sullivan, and Lex Averial.
All right, now I'll be Johnny.
Nope. David Shook.
Oh,
If you want to be, then I'll be Vanessa.
all right. Hey, it's me, John. I'm like the nicest guy, and there's nothing you can really say to mock me because I'm just so nice to everyone, and I'm really sweet, and I love good art. It makes me cry. David Shook, Joshua Bennett, Cameron Shoei, Joseph, Cyril the Wolf, David Green, Stephen Kroc, Robert M. Pullum, Glendo, Eric Garby, Vanessa's fourth mom, Christian Go, Tyler Petty, Jonathan Smith, Nathan Poirot, Hudson Roth. I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hudson Roth. That's a very easy word. I don't know why it tripped me up sometimes. That's how it be. Ashley T, Cowman Mosser, Citrus C, Ron 2, Stu Skeel, the infamous Ginkgo biloba, Free Hong Kong, Squall would beat Cloud in a fight.
All right. And here is me, Vanessa, Sean Walsh. I did it all for the Wookiee, Tom, Paul Birch, Sean Gonzalez, Nofford, G. Bailey, Force Lightning, Go Force Lightning, Benjamin Avner, acapella theme songer We Riot, That One Guy, Sammy Mitchell, Patrick W. Bears, Ward Childress, Alexander Jokic, James Hostetler, Gage Lacharité, Vanessa's mom, Aaron Little, DJ Ethro, Andy M, Livin' La Vida Loca, CP Awesome, KGG Loth, Brian Pitt, Isaac Wright, Sty of the Beholder, and Just Jerry. That was an amazing Vanessa impression, I think.
It was really good.
That's great.
Now the outro.
You don't have to change it. I already read it.
Here I go. Send us an email. You know our email address. It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. If you absolutely cannot be bothered to send an email, please come visit us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for Smart, Cool, Very Attractive People. Actually, you should just do that because it's a really nice group with positive people, even if you are the kind of person who is afraid to engage in gamer spaces. I think you'll have a good time with the people at our Facebook group. You can also tweet at us at Square Roots Pod. Sometimes I use the Twitter for business for the show. Sometimes I use it for whatever I feel like doing, which these days has been mostly harassing Twitch users who I like. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I will note, I tried to ask Brian, what's his name? Brian David Gilbert, if he ever does close-up magic or any form of magic, but I think it came off really creepy, and he never answered.
Oh, no.
I said I was asking for a friend.
People say that all the time when they're asking for themselves, John. Didn't you realize?
But I was asking for a friend.
I know. You were asking on my behalf. That was so kind of you.
Instead of...
Yeah,
Oh.
I use the Twitter to like retweet things I like. If I draw a good picture of a toad, I'll put it on the Twitter. Sometimes I just want a thought to go into the universe, so I put it on the Twitter. Come to the Twitter, but don't bother me. Don't slide into my DMs. And don't threaten to kill me.
Ugh. Next time, or no, not next time. For Square Roots, this has been Johnny Brandon. And
I'm Vanessa.
And the ghost of Jim and Matthew are
nodding
at us as they glow in blue.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we did it. A double fister.
Instead of saying bye, should we say, sing the a cappella Star Wars again?
Let's do it.
All right. Star Wars. There's lots of Star Wars. This time, no kazoo. It's just Star Wars.
Break it down.
Ooh, Star Wars. It's Star Wars. We can't break it down. We're the whitest people on the internet.
I'm so white, and Johnny's even whiter.
Oh,
we're both
from
the Pacific Northwest area.
Bye.
Bye. Matt, please edit all of that out.
But especially at the end of the episode, he does not edit these things out.
He doesn't edit things out. So, Matt, boobs, butt, fart, my butt, twins. Okay, now that you're paying attention, please edit out the part where we spoiled the joke. Just go back like 1 minute, listen very closely, put down the vape pen, do your best. I believe in you. Boobs, my butt.